What's up everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're tackling the Jeep. I know it's been a while, but I gotta get this thing ready because we're going on a long trip to Colorado for a week-long off-grid camping experience. It could kill this thing, we don't know, but we're gonna take care of that and see how it goes. So today's video we're gonna talk about two things. One, why am I replacing a completely functional alternator? And two, how to upgrade to that higher output 120 amp alternator. So if you've never changed your alternator before, it's going to be a quick little video on how to do it and also get the upgraded version. So let me show you what tools you're going to need to do it. So main tools you're going to need: 16 mil, 15 mil, 14 mil, ½ inch for your battery. You'll need the old trusty 10 mil. Don't lose that. If it gets away from you, you'll never find it ever again. Same with the sockets. You got 14 mil, 15 mil, 16 mil, couple sorted ratchets. For the alternator itself, you actually need the 7 mil to get the tiny bolts off the back of the alternator for the electrical, and an 8 mil. And then for your tensioner, that also takes 15 mil. I have it on this to help you get that off. So one of the big reasons why I decided to do this and do this now, this alternator came with the Jeep. The Jeep itself has about 263,000 miles on it. I'm not saying this thing has 263,000 miles on it, but it's got some miles on it. But it does still work perfectly fine. So why am I doing this now? Why would I take out a perfectly good alternator to put another perfectly good alternator back in? Well, I'm in my garage, and I can tell you this: if you're upgrading to the 120 amp alternator, you're not doing this out on the trail. It's not happening, because what you have to do is you have to modify the bracket to get this alternator to fit. Because the 90 amp alternator, the housing itself is smaller than the 120 amp alternator. So unless you got a grinder and a whole bunch of tools at your handy when you're out in the trail, it's not happening. So by doing it here, I've got the garage, I've got all the tools I need, and I can hang on to this alternator because I know it works. I'm gonna chuck this in that box, put it in the back of the Jeep for the trip, and if something actually goes wrong where I fry this new alternator and I'm not close to a parts store to get it replaced, I can pop this one back in and we're good to go until I can get the other one and get it swapped back out. As far as doing it, it's not something I want to do on the trail anyway. So by replacing it now, hopefully, knowing that the new alternator has got a lot of new parts in it, I did go with the refurbished one, saved me a couple bucks, and I know that it's quality tested and ready to go. Still comes with the lifetime warranty on it. So the other good thing is, if something does go wrong, it's going to be a lot easier to put this one back in, because like I said, you do have to modify the bracket, which I'll show you in the videos here as we go along. Like I said, this housing is smaller, so we'll go in a lot easier and shouldn't have any problems. The one thing about the 90 amp is when you're switching it out, you can actually take it out through the bottom, because on the Jeeps, as you guys know, the alternators are on the bottom. Unless you do the AC delete kit and move it up top. I didn't decide to do that because my AC still works, and while it works and I can keep fixing it if it does break, we're gonna go ahead and keep the AC and just keep this thing down on the bottom. But like I said, alternators on these, the 90 amp, they're nice and small. You just drop them right out the bottom. Real easy to do. This one here, the 120, with it being a bigger housing, I actually had to go in this way by taking the battery out, take the battery tray out, and drop it in from the top. Because unfortunately, like I said, with this one having the bigger case, it's just not going to fit going in through the bottom. So now if I have to replace it, everything will just come out through the top. We'll be good to go. So I can tell you, I went to my local parts store, O'Reilly's, right here down the street from me. I can tell you a Reman 90 amp is about $145, and a Reman 120 amp is about $175. Now your taxes are going to be a little different where you're at, but I did pay about $230 with this one, tax, all that stuff combined. And it does have the core on it. But for right now, I need this thing on the trip in case something goes wrong, just so I can get off the trail rather than sucking down batteries and being stranded somewhere. So I will hang on to this one for a little bit, eventually probably throw it in, get the core back on it, and we should be good to go. But I always stick with the Reman one rather than buying a new one, because I know the Remans have all the new parts in them, and they're always quality tested, and they still come with a good warranty. Saved a couple bucks, well worth it. So like I was saying, this one here, I don't know how many miles it has on it. I do know that it does work. I'm keeping all the nuts that came off the back. I'm gonna put them right back on. I will keep this as a spare in the Jeep for this trip, because I know hopefully this one having all new parts in it shouldn't give me any issues. But if I do run into a problem, I will have a good backup one to put in. But hopefully by putting this one in, it just takes a little less fear out of something going, you know, like failing out on the trail. So what we'll do is we'll clean up the wiring that was in there that connects all your grounds and your charging ports. We'll clean up that piece so we got good contact, throw this thing back in, and we'll be good to go. Because this housing is the 120 amp, it is bigger, and as you can see, it doesn't fit. It don't line up. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a little self-clearancing on some of these spots that are really close, and just open these up a hair to where we can get this thing to mount up. It's not going to be much, but you can see it does hit, and it does stop it from going in. I've tried everything to get it in without having to do this, but it's just going to have to happen. So I'm going to go ahead and clearance these out, get everything lined up, and I'll get right back with you. Alright, so bolt goes in, everything fits. I'm going to clean this thing up. Let me show you here. We did have to take quite a bit out of this one. You can see, start up there. Make sure you don't go too deep into there, you're going to mess up the threads. Structure wise, we should be good. I mean, it was just basically you're just kind of going around and smoothing everything out because it's kind of lumpy, and then there's definitely buildup here that needs to go. And then same with this bracket, just a little bit out of there and a little bit out of that corner. But easiest way to do it, put your main bolt in and then just kind of hinge these things over on top of each other. See where it stops, sand a little bit out. I just used regular old grinder. And this is good. Like I said, we'll get this cleaned up, get it back in. So I'll be right back. Another little hot tip, dollar store, best degreezer out there. Maybe 3 minutes, a little bit of scrubbing and that oven cleaner from Dollar Tree. Go get you some. It's better than the stuff you're gonna get that's $5 or $6 at a parts store. All right, well, now that the alternator's in, everything tests out fine. We're good to go on that. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that thing doesn't grenade on me out on the trail. But like I said, the good thing is I do have the original one. Still works. So if something does go wrong, I can throw that one back in there. We can get to the closest O'Reilly's or something out there, get a new one swapped out. But I think this thing should be good to go. I've got tons of stuff that have shown up for this trip. Like I said, it's going to be probably about 2,000 miles worth of driving up in the mountains. So with this thing having 263,000 miles on it, I know I've watched videos of guys just pulverizing these things and they just keep running. I try to take care of it, and I know this thing hopefully won't let me down, but should be a good trip. Can't wait to film it all, get you guys a bunch of videos on where we're going, things we're seeing, new products that we're testing, so stay tuned on that. I'm really excited. We got some more fab work going on. I did pick up a 3-gallon gas can that I do have to mount somewhere on this thing. I'm really running out of real estate, but I found a good spot for it, so stick around for that video. I'll have that one out soon once I get that done. But yeah, we've got tons of products we're going to be testing, lots of miles we're going to be driving, cool sights we're going to see. Got a couple buddies going out there. This is going to be a great time. Can't wait to bring those videos to you guys. But for now, alternator's good, spare parts are good, and that's going to do it. So as always, thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I'll see you in the next video.